Oh, good morning. This is going to be our demo on the art supplies that we have. So the first thing you want to do is put on your apron, and the second thing you want to do is put on your gloves. Sometimes we forget this very important step, and we get down the road and we've got paint all over ourselves. So there we go, we've got the gloves. Okay, so I'm working here on a sketchbook just for this demonstration. And I'm going to show you a number of the supplies we've got. So first of all, let's talk about your colored pencils. These colored pencils are water soluble. So that means you can draw things on your page. You can color in areas like this. And you can take your paintbrush with a little water, and that turns into paint. We love water-soluble pencils. These pencils can be used underneath or on top of your painting. It doesn't matter, either way will work fine. You don't have to turn them into paint. You can leave them just as a pencil, but you've got that option. Our next pencils we've got the graphite pencil, and these are basically for drawing, and I like to put things underneath my paintings, maybe words, and let's see, and different things. I mean, you can put your name under there, whatever. So these again can be used underneath or on top of your painting to outline things or draw things. These are not water soluble, so that's a different story right there. The next thing I'm going to show you is the Posca pen, my favorite thing in the whole world maybe. These Posca pens are just wonderful. They are actually acrylic ink in a pen. So if you use them underneath, which I like to do, and I'll tell you why in a minute, you can start things off with whatever you want. I mean, this is just underpainting. What we're going to be learning in our class is about painting in layers, many layers. So what's under here may not ever be seen. It may disappear as we continue to paint. But, you know, the Posca pens, you can do a whole thing in here. The thing about Posca pens, I also use them on top of the painting, but it's very important to make sure your painting is completely dry. If your painting's not dry and you use the pen, you're going to jam up this little tip, and then you won't be able to use it anymore. Be very cautious of that. I certainly do use them, but I do wait till everything is dry. Okay, here are our blue shop towels. And, well, I'm going to show you these in a minute because we'll have a use for them. Let's put a little paint on here and see what we can do. Normally, you're going to be from your palette painting, but because I'm demoing, I'm just going to come right out of the tube. You don't necessarily want to do that. Here's your color shaper. This comes in a few different sizes. It's got a rubber tip. It's very pliable. And what you can do with it is shape color, move it around. It's really a fun thing to have. I like using it. And it gets the paint moved around pretty quickly. So that's your color shaper, different sizes. Don't forget to use it. And don't forget to, you know, clean it off after every use so that it, again, you don't want to get it jammed up with paint. Okay, now I'm going to put another color on here just so we can kind of get an idea of another piece of supplies. And this is like an old credit card. These are just wonderful, very similar to the color shaper, but the edge is a little stronger. I actually use these for many things. I use them for mixing paint, spreading paint. I paint with them. You will come to like these. They're really wonderful, but once again, make sure you clean that paint off or you're going to end up with a really rough edge later on. Okay, so here we've got a couple colors. See how the things underneath have already begun to disappear, so we're not going to worry about that. Okay, this blue shop towel has many uses. This particular thing I'm doing here, I want to take off a little paint because I put a little too much paint on. So I'm just going to roll over it with that shop towel and take a little paint off. Here's another really wonderful art supply. These are your inks, and they come in many colors. And these inks are wonderful because they create transparency. I mean, you can see through them. And in the kind of painting we're going to be doing, we're going to like to be able to see through and to different layers because it makes your work more interesting. So these just lay over. I'm going to put another color on here, actually, just to give you a better idea of what they look like. Oh, that's a lot of color right there. All right, we're going to work with it. Okay, so, okay, now you can see how, look what happened there. You could see through that ink, and you could see some of those other layers, and it's also changed some of the color, hasn't it? We like that very much. All right, so that's your acrylic ink. This is your brayer. Now, some people will take paint and they'll use their brayer to paint with it. I don't do that, but you can do that. Just make sure you clean your brayer after every use because things will get gunked up on here real easy, and then you'll have an uneven surface. We're going to use this when we do collage and other types of things, which will come later. But you can use this in many different ways, and I see people paint with it all the time. Okay, now you've got your palette knives, which are definitely not going to look like my palette knives, but these are for mixing paint, and we'll get into that in another video, but your palette knives are important. So, okay, we've got gesso. Now, gesso is something we use to prime our wood panels with, and I'm going to show you that in another video as well. So we'll put that aside for now. Now we've got a spray bottle with water, and we've got a container with water. Let's see what else we have on our list. We got the pens, the medium, the inks, the brayer, the palette knives, credit cards. Okay, I think you've got some flat brushes and some round brushes. We're not going to worry about those at the moment. So basically, those are some of our basic art supplies that we use. And getting a painting started is all about just starting, putting things on the page and not worrying about where it's going to go. So that's this part of our lesson for today.